So welcome everyone, and most of you I have spoken to at some point, as Vicki said. So I'm the marketing manager at PSC, and so what we like to do is obviously have these sessions to better inform people so that they can make the choice of doing whatever course it is that they want to do in photography. This one is particularly focused on the Cert 4 and photography and photo imaging. However, if after this discussion you feel that it's not for you, then we also have part-time courses. So we often have people that don't necessarily do this one and then they go into part-time, or they go from part-time, a bit like Two was looking at part-time, and then he's now gone into the Cert 4. So just keep that in mind if you want to have a chat about anything else after this session. So tonight we've got Vicki Bell with us, who is one of our award-winning teachers. So she is what we call our lead teacher in the Cert 4 and does a marvellous job and very entertaining, as Kat has alluded to. So she has an amazing amount of experience, but I'll let her cover that when we get to her. And then we've invited Katrina Cayley. Do I say Cayley? Is that pronounced correctly?
Yeah, or Kat. But yeah, Kat Cayley.
Kat Cayley, that's got a good ring to it. So Kat actually is one of our students, and she's studying the course at the moment. So as we start to have a discussion, we'll get to Kat eventually, and she'll be able to talk to how she's finding the course, but also if you want to ask her any questions about doing the course, then she'll be the person to do that with. So just briefly, a bit about PSC. So if you don't know, we're a multi-award-winning college that specialises in photography and moving image. I say that because people think just photography being pictures, but we also do have subjects in a lot of our courses that cover actually doing film as well. We've been around for 45 years, or over 45 years, so that just goes to show that we're obviously tried and tested. So we certainly specialise in photography, unlike universities. So we often find that students will go and start a course at a university and then realise that they also have to do drama or art or something else, and they really want to just focus on photography and moving image. So they end up coming to us because we are a specialist in our field. And we also have award-winning teachers. Like, all of our teachers work in the industry, so they're not just people that have been teaching photography for 20 years and not been out doing their own line of work. So they're all photographers and doing really well in their field as well. The other great thing about PSC is that we're a really close-knit community. So we're you're a name, not a number. So again, in universities, the classes can be up in the 50s to 100 sometimes, whereas our classes generally are around 20 to 30 maybe with the Cert 4. So it's still a really nice, manageable class where you can get to know your teacher really well, and you get lots of support without feeling like you've got to get a ticket and stand in line. We've got a new campus, so we opened in February. So we're now situated in Thistlethwaite Street in South Melbourne. Before we were, Vicki, I wasn't at that campus.
City Road campus behind the Art Centre.
Yes. So this one, this actual campus is absolutely amazing. It's purpose-built. It's in an old building, but it's been restored to have all the perks of having, what you would have at the university we've got, if not more, because we have a wonderful studio, print shop, library, etc. So there's lots more to doing your course at PSC other than just doing your course. There's lots of other areas to explore. We are also very close to public transport, which is always helpful. Obviously, we can't take you on a tour of the campus at the moment because of COVID, but if you go on the website, you can actually do a virtual tour. That's worth going and checking out. That'll give you a feel for what the campus is like. And also, at the moment, we're in stage 4 lockdown in Melbourne, and I think everyone here that's online at the moment is from Melbourne. So this will probably affect you in the sense that as soon as we get the notification that we're going back to stage 3, then because we're seen as an essential service, we actually are allowed to have students on campus as long as we follow, you know, the mask and, you know, making sure we sanitise and all of that sort of side of things. So while the course, like we won't know till Sunday, as you know, until the Premier announces what the next stage is going to be like. So we may start out in Zoom, or we could start this course in a hybrid model, which means you'll get to choose to either do it online in real time by Zoom or come on to campus. Now, also, I just want to quickly mention before we move on to Vicki, this course offers a government subsidy. However, to be able to be eligible for the subsidy, some of you may have already gone through this process with me already. If you haven't, there are some qualifying questions which basically identify whether you'll be paying $780 versus $10,500. Now, I'll just quickly run through those qualifiers. It's only 4 questions. So generally what we ask is, are you an Australian citizen or resident who is living in the state of Victoria? Because this funding is skills first funding, it's only for Victorian residents. So if you are, then you tick the box. Then the next question is, I have not studied any course above a Certificate 3 previously. So if you've done a Cert 4 or above in anything, then again, you wouldn't qualify to get the subsidy. The third question is, I have not completed 2 or more courses using the Victorian Government Skills First funding, otherwise you would not qualify. And then the last one is, you must hold either a pension card or a healthcare card. So if you've answered yes to all of those, then you would qualify for the 780 versus the 10,500. Now, if you still want to do the course and you still want to do it at the full price, there is study loans available. So you can still obviously do the course. You would just need to pay it off instalments or through our study loan option. And yeah, so that's probably everything I need to give you at the moment. Just before we move to Vicki, does anyone want to ask me any questions about anything that I covered then?
All good.
Okay, excellent. So now we can move on to the fun stuff. So we'll move over to Vicki and she can talk about what's contained in the course.
Cool. Where do I start? So to give you a bit of an overview, it's 4 days of classes. And I would say, Kat, it's 10 to 5 most days.
Except with breaks.
Yeah, breaks. So absolutely, yeah. So I deliver the camera craft class, which is all day on Tuesdays. So I take you back to absolute basics, beginner's mind, and just start again, even if you may have already had experience. I always say photography is a practice, and you keep practicing over and over again till you, it's second nature, so you don't have to think about it. So we've got, currently students who've been practicing in photography as maybe real estate photographers or have come from film days. And they've just loved actually just doing the whole review and learning to use their tools, the tool of the trade, with a lot more confidence and purpose. So that's been quite an advantage. So yeah, we go back to basics, and that's just looking at all the functions, etc. We've pretty much completed that in the first 5 weeks. I think it was, Kat, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
Shutter speed, ISO, etc. And now we're exploring genres and applying that knowledge into pretty much exploring the application of storytelling through our cameras. So now we're starting a documentary essay, which is pretty much about life in isolation, which is a really great project. And our last cohort were the first ones to actually be in that kind of lockdown period, and they just did such an incredible job and really extended themselves. And in fact, one of our students, Joshua Lee, won a national award recently on one of his images that he did in lockdown, and became, he was a finalist in the student category And there was, I think we had over 3,000 submissions. So we were so proud, you know, just like blown away. I was like a proud mama, let me tell you. It was just exciting. And that's just, yeah, great opportunities there. So camera craft is all day Tuesday. On Wednesdays, we explore light. We go back to just learning to see light, natural light, understanding, you know, the direction of light. And then we start to introduce what we call modifiers. So looking at reflectors and diffusers. Then we are now exploring using flash on camera. And tomorrow we're actually going to be exploring artificial lights and alternative light sources for our next project, which is creating still life. And so we're exploring genres of like portrait as well. So we did natural light and portraiture. We're now going to apply that learning to sculpting light for still lifes. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I love that, those two classes especially, right, Kat?
Yeah, no, it's nuts and bolts, and it's so important.
Yes.
It's been great.
So then Thursday or Wednesday mornings is, I don't teach that class, but you've got Neil's class and he's doing colour theory. So Kat, maybe I'll get you to talk a little bit about what you're covering off in that class.
Yeah, Neil's amazing. He's just so amazing. So it's a different style as well. It's sort of moving from what we're doing hands-on with you, Vicki. It's more delving into your mind of how you look at images and how you look at everything around you. Like he sort of makes you start seeing color in a whole new way, and black and white, and what, you know, can fill sort of your photos or your images of how you pull them apart and work at how they work or how they don't work, or studying the way really old photographers or, you know, well-known photographers, how they use color and aesthetics and composition to make their shots stand out, and something that you can use as a talking point.
Yeah, excellent. It's really sort of doing like the design elements and exploring, you know, more in your palette of the possibilities of what you can do with your craft. And Mondays actually is all your digital classes. So with George, and you'll be looking pretty much learning how to do things like format your hard drive, how to then use Lightroom, the process from like downloading and converting and storing, you know, metadata and keywording, etc. How to create catalogs, subject headings. Like it's, you know, pretty in depth and really exciting at the same time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed George's class because it's probably the technical stuff I struggle with.
Yeah.
And I take a coffee and strap in, and it's it's hands-on, and it's a sequence of steps that you have to kind of just apply each step as you go to learning more about your editing, especially.
Yeah, so and workflow practices to get into, especially when managing so many files over time. So that's yeah. And then Thursdays is we do an industry class for 5 weeks. So I'm introducing students to different avenues and possibilities of where you can go with your, you know, potentially with your career if you want to. So far we've had a look at, you know, portrait studio. And this is the great thing about Zoom, is that I'm able to access all these photographers around the country, which I wouldn't normally be able to get into class to do a talk. It's just that's one of the biggest bonuses I reckon ever. It's just like last term, I managed to get in 20 speakers from different genres, and they were very insightful. And, you know, Kat's that student that kind of writes down everything and all the quotable quotes. So
yeah, I'm a geek.
Really exciting, actually. So yeah, industry, like today we had, as we mentioned before, we had, you know, Michael Coyne, documentary photographer. You know, last week we had an incredible young portrait photographer from Italy who has incredible, you know, social media presence and has really propelled his career using that, you know, social media activity. So that was like great personal projects, very motivational as a speaker.
And Sue Ellen.
Oh, and Sue Ellen, yeah. So we had Sue Ellen Cook from Tasmania last week, who gave us an insight into the world of art photography, exhibiting, you know, how she creates editions, how she sells her work online. It was really fantastic, actually. And then on Thursday afternoons, we're currently looking into, you know, an introduction into social media marketing. So not so much as social media, how to post, or, you know, how to use Facebook and all that stuff. It's more about how to market with it, how to, you know, present yourself into the world and use it as your shop window. So I try and cover as much, you know, bring in some business aspects into that as well, which I think is really important. So not just about shooting, but just other perspectives of the industry, like, you know, ethics and business practices, understanding liability. So it becomes a really holistic learning experience. And then we go into term 2, and then you'll start, you know, things like doing studio work with Mark, which is great. And then again, you'll be extending some more of your learning with camera craft. Again, looking at different genres. We look at sort of architectural photography. We look at environmental. We can do self-portrait. So yeah, it's pretty active, and it's very rich in content. And it's really inspiring when we get to see the results. So they are 3-hour classes, but I break it up so everyone's getting breaks quite often as well, and keeping very mindful of looking at the screen and looking after your well-being and your health, obviously. But, you know, break it up with, you know, a catch-up. We kind of do file reviews. I deliver content each week, and then you put that into practice, come back, look at your files, let's talk about it, let's learn from each other. Like, it's a real osmosis, it's a real learning community. So I always say there's no sort of hierarchy, it's just me sharing and you're sharing, and we're, you know, really having an enriching experience with the knowledge. So I learn as much as you do. Like, I get some great gems from, you know, some of the people who are far more technical than I am, you know, understanding certain things that are beyond my brain. But, you know, I certainly give you, and I'm an open book of, you know, 30 plus years of experience, and, you know, and I like to connect people. So I know, like, I've connected Kat already with, you know, potential work.
Yeah, that's been amazing.
So there you go. I talk too much. Any questions? Maybe Kat, if you do you want to share any thoughts about what it's been like? Because you've pretty much done the whole course on Zoom.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this chat, and I'm being really honest that I think it's exceeded my expectations. Like, from what I sort of thought about the course going in, today was just such a great day, and I think about the weeks we've had, and honestly, it's been the best thing I've done for myself for a really long time. And I sort of came into it thinking, oh, yep, great, you know, I'm really going to learn these fundamentals about my camera that I've always sort of glossed over, and you know, maybe I'll learn a few things here and there, and let's just see at the end if I can sort of come out with it and do something. And then it's just exceeded all those expectations. Like, it's taken me back to, like, actually stopping and looking at my camera and evaluating the way I really do things, and really going over that practice sort of day in, day out. It straight away gives you just so much confidence to see things in a different way, or realize that, you know, maybe you could improve doing this, and it just brings you to a next level quite quickly. And I didn't realize all the other stuff that we were going to get have provided, the social media class and industry, and about running your own business, and all the different other genres of photography that there's work in. Someone was saying before about doing children's photography, and I was really, at the start, I was like just focused on doing, you know, children and weddings, and now I'm like, oh, there's so many more possibilities, and you go through all the different stages of if you were doing it yourself, or what other people have done, like when you listen to the industry speakers, and yeah, it opens your eyes a lot. And not just that, my course mates, I just think they're fantastic, and we share information like all the time, and breakouts. We do, like, I've started up a coffee group on a Friday.
You're great.
Bring your beverage of choice, and we just sort of go over course notes, and if anyone's struggling, it's an opportunity to reach out. And everyone has been really real about how, you know, they're going during this time and lockdown, and it's been very humbling and nice to hear people on the same page and wanting to support each other. And it's been a real source for me of inspiration to just almost forget about that for now, live in the present and study and throw yourself into it. And I think that's why I'm really enjoying talking about it, because it's just been great.
Such lovely words. Thank you. I love that initiative when you started up that group. I think it was the best thing to have that, because you're not in the classroom and kind of connecting in that live space. But I think, that cyberspace has worked so perfectly too, and everyone's been really open and sharing.
Yeah. And I think the Zoom's worked well. It's worked really well. I live an hour out of Melbourne, and so in some respects for me, it's made it even more possible, because even when the lockdown eases, like I want to come into class, but then to have the option of doing it from home and Zoom is a real possibility for me. Yeah. And there's people in our course that are outside of Melbourne who are getting the same value, and it's because you're all in this together. It's everyone's I feel pitching in a bit more maybe than if you were just, going about your day to day. Yeah.
Like we've got someone from Warrnambool, got someone from Sale, even Preston. Oh my goodness.
And different experience levels as well. Like I've done a bit of photography, but I'm not the most experienced in our group, and I'm not the least. I'm sort of sitting in the middle. And so it's really great because you draw off kind of the energy from, guys coming out of school or younger, and then you're listening to sort of the life experience and what photography some of the older guys have done. It's just been really interesting.
Excellent. So, and if you like, I can show a little bit of work if that's helpful for you guys to see what the students are up to. Does that sound good too? Yeah, Matt, King, everyone's nodding. And please ask any questions maybe while I'm just sort of getting the slides on it.
So like you said, like there are two options we can do on Zoom, and we can go face to face.
When the opportunity arises, depending on the government's ruling, we are actually set up for hybrid, and so I was delivering hybrid before, for the first, I think 3-4 weeks, Lindy, maybe we were doing hybrid. So we actually have a whole system set up in the classroom. So we've opened up all our classrooms into a massive space. Everyone's got their own table. But I've got this like massive screen behind me where I can actually talk to everyone. And as far as I know, Kat's about this size. It's going to be a little surreal when we finally meet, and I'll probably have to go like this. Oh my God.
I'm actually really tall.
There's going to be that distortion, and it's like, the wide angle lens I've got this.
And I'm like an avatar. So it's like, I think it's good.
I know, it's going to be quite hilarious actually. But we are set up for both, Jatinda, so we can do the hybrid.
So like so we have to choose one option, or can we go for both, like when?
You can just switch. Like some people came in some days and then they're at home the other day.
Yeah, that's what my question. So we can do both together. So when I can come to campus, I can come to campus.
And I will say that what's working really well, and what I want to continue, is that any of the theory classes are online, but the practical classes I'll always present hybrid. So unless there's a ruling otherwise from the college, but I think that's working really well, because also we've got to be mindful of the space and making sure that we're accommodating all the different courses. So I find the practical ones that we can, hopefully fit in on, in space at the college.
So we can do both together, yes? Both.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another question is like what I'm expecting after completion of this course. Like I want to run my own business in like children photography. So will this course help me to learn those type of techniques so I can run my own business?
I'll give you an insight into that, because that's my genre, so you're lucky. And then, so it's, really, when you're going into the diploma, then we do a deeper dive into sort of portrait photography. But the main thing to be successful in photography is to know how to use your camera first, know how to understand the lighting first, practice, and then you apply that learning to various genres. So this is where the foundations are going to be critical for you, because I've seen people go out without any of that foundation and they're just creating, you know, unsuccessful work basically, because they don't understand light and they don't understand how to use their camera.
Yes.
That's the most important part. And I will always bring, like, you know, Kat knows, I bring back in my learning through everything that I present, and I'll apply it to, this is where it's great for children's photography because of this. You know, your social media is going to help you in regards to sort of thinking about a marketing plan, like we'll be doing like campaigns, like how do we reach our audience, who are we talking to, how are we going to promote what we do. And that comes through an understanding of, you know, from your social media, who your you know, your ideal audience. I hate using the word target. You know, what keywords you're going to use, how do you do a marketing strategy.
I definitely think as well, on that front, I truly think that the information's all there, and through the courses and the lectures, I do believe that if you put in the effort, it's all there for you. And so I've been kind of going above and beyond because of what I want to get out of it. And I'm putting in like extra time. I'm taking extra photos and I'm just putting everything into it. And so if you want to do that, I've just, you know, grabbed it and gone with it. Yeah. But I think it's there if you want it, it's there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the key is, and I see this because I've taught the class so many times now, the people who do the best, those who attend, those who produce work and let me review it each week. So there comes a point where I start to see people not giving me work and not showing me work, and they're the ones that struggle 100% because they're not getting the learning, they're not getting the exchange of information, they're not the critiquing. So you get out what you get in 100%. Like if you don't attend, or you just, some days not other days, you can't be 100% successful in it.
And yeah. And the second question, like if I want to work in industry, so what sort of employment will I get? Like I have no idea. If I want to work outside, then what sort of employment I can get?
Well, it depends on what you're willing to put in. Like, you know, in order to sort of start out there, again, getting your craft right, having a great folio is going to help you. You know, let's see what you can do. People aren't just going to hire you based on the fact that you've done you know, just on the course. It's like you've got to produce the goods. All right. So I've got one student who came in last time. She's now starting her own business. So that's the way she started it. And I go for it. That's what I did. I dived in as soon as I graduated. I didn't wait around for opportunities. I actually created the opportunities.
I haven't even finished yet and I jumped in.
You've got to create your opportunities. You can't sit back and wait for them. You've got to produce beautiful work. You've got to work hard at the craft and produce the images, and then you've got to work out, you know, what genre you want to do. So, you know, there's a whole business side to it that might go into, you know, doing maybe a diploma or a bachelor degree to get you into a deep dive. So there's other sort of avenues you can go into to advance. Start with the basics first and leave your right foot forward. Okay. Does that help?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of work, and if anyone's got other questions as well, then...
I was just going to say as well, just on that last bit, I didn't even wait. We had an industry speaker that came and I got his email and I emailed him.
Yeah, you did. You're a fan.
So it's like, if you guys want to take advantage of the networking that comes from it, like, yeah, it's great.
So I'm just going to try and, I've lost my screen for a sec. Let's try that again. Yeah, so we had a speaker in who specialises in, maybe you can share that, maybe Kat, what Ian does.
Oh, with Ian, yeah. Is it, I can't see the screen up.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to share.
Yeah.
Can you see that, you guys? Like, here we go.
Getting there.
Can you guys all see that screen that I'm sharing?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, I can see your folders.
Yep, that's it. I'm just about to open them. I'm just seeing where we can go to first. Let me show you. This is Josh Lee's little documentary, well, not little, but this great documentary series that he did. And this is the image that he won finalist in the student category for the AIPP Silver Online Awards that happened recently, which is a very well respected, it's the key association, the key body for the photography industry. So there's some sort of perimeters around what the topic was sort of covering. So we're looking at perspective, doing details to tell the story, you know, how to use movement in a creative way to get a sense of emotion. This is very successful. So that was an example of that documentary project. We had a good one last week where we were looking at abstracts, how to isolate. This is good. This is your cat.
Oh, that's mine.
Yeah. So we looked at abstraction, you know, through colour themes or, you know, themes of texture, or what else was there?
Depth of field.
Organic matters. It was a lot of fun, that one. We got some... Yeah,
and it was through Lightroom, which I didn't even know you could do that in Lightroom.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Some that we got in today. Next one. Fun, that one. The self-portraits were fantastic. So that's something that you haven't done yet, Kat, that's coming up. Is your self-portrait series. So the idea was you did something that was kind of a literal self-portrait and then something that was not literal, like a more of a representative, metaphorical self-portrait. So that's Josh Lee's was funny again. So this is his version of his self-portrait. So yeah, so we're applying all the different, you know, the learning, like we're looking at all the, you know, camera craft, lighting direction, using the design elements, and applying it into these projects. Is there any other questions? All good. So I know we've got Jenny as well come in and Lucy. Did you guys have any questions, ladies? At all?
Hi, I apologise for joining in late too.
Okay, no drama.
I was late from work and then I've never used Zoom before. This is my first session, so it took me a while to get cranked up. So yeah, so yeah, just very excited to be joining the course, and I have no doubt it's going to be perfect for what I want to do and hope to achieve. But yeah, I guess my main question was about my gear and what I'm going to need as essentials. For the
you definitely need a you know, DSLR camera. So you want a digital camera with interchangeable lenses.
So specific lens sizes?
Look, I think if you've got a 50mm, we can start with a 50mm is great, and you know, you can start with minimum gear, but you want to be able to in the future be able to explore your different, you know, opportunities with lenses if you decide to invest a bit further.
Yeah.
Ideally, if you can get a flash on camera, like get a speed light. Yeah. Which is going to serve you well anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, you know, look, the other accessories, but not essential, but ideal if you can, you know, depends on your budget, is maybe to have a tripod and a reflector, you know, a kit. So you've got reflector diffusers, and they're pretty reasonable. I think, well, Kat, they're out there for like $20, $30. You can buy a kit, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And everyone sort of has helped each other out in our course with some good bargains.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we've got a Facebook, we have a Facebook group, so we all share, you know, hints and knowledge, and it's been awesome for that. Some good bargains, actually. We've got some good bargain hunters in the class. I love that.
Some Gumtree users.
We work out ways to improvise, but yeah, definitely, because we are exploring flash and speed lights. You know, it's ideal. Like some people use their pop-up flash, but it's never the same, and you know, we try and work with what you've got, but that's definitely, you need to probably, you know, have a a computer that can handle Lightroom. You need to have Lightroom and Photoshop. Do you need, like, you can get a student subscription for that?
Yeah, I've been using Capture One, but yeah, I'll certainly get the subscription for the Lightroom.
Yeah, definitely Lightroom and Photoshop, because we'll be teaching you that Mondays. You'll need that program specifically.
Yeah.
And Vicki, can I just add, we do have a camera flyer that we can give to students too, that gives them an idea of, you know, suggested levels of equipment. And we also have a really good relationship with Ted's Camera House. So on that flyer, it actually puts you in touch with the person that you can discuss that with and work out a deal.
Yeah, sounds great.
We also, at the moment, are selling on our, because we have a shop at PSC, so computers as well, like Mac computers. I think they're 2014 model maybe, but they're going quite cheaply too. So
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, so when we moved from the old place to the new one, we got all staff got new equipment, as did the college. And so the ones that were older, we put up on the shop for sale for students to buy if they needed one.
Awesome, good to know.
I think, like, just from a student point of view, I was thinking at the start, oh, how am I going to make this work? But yeah, I'd sort of put everything around to make it work, because once you get in the flow of it, every unit seems to flow on. And so, and every assessment seems to lead on to the next step. And I reckon it's just those real fundamental parts in the early days that actually, once you start talking about documentary photos or industry or business or social media, it's sort of, you almost need that backing to get to that next stage if you want to get a lot out and feel like you're sort of keeping up. And it's worth putting the time aside to make it happen.
And Kat, you'd say it's gone really quickly for you? Like, it wouldn't... Yeah.
Gone super quick, actually. And I think being so immersed in it, it's given me more confidence than what I thought. It's sort of inspiring me to get out and actually put the work into taking photographs again. And it's flying. And I feel like now I'm almost like trying to actually really enjoy just every session, because I realize, like, 6 months is going to go really quickly. And I think, as I said before, it's all the information is there. So it's sort of really interesting to grab a hold of it and go with it.
I get messages from the other students from last time. They're like, we really miss classes and they miss their routine and just, you know, being enriched by so much knowledge and motivation. So, I
agree with that. I think I'll miss it as well. Just because it's sort of, especially, I think you all look like you've worked in different genres. It's sort of amazing to take, like I have as well. It's sort of an amazing thing as a mature age student as well, or however you want to, just that ability to go back and learn and really take a different approach and really get stuck into it. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty amazing.
Cool, thank you, Kat. All good, everyone? Is that over and out, Lindy? Is there anything else that we need to cover?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if anyone wants to reach out to me tomorrow to have more of a chat, or if you feel like you want to talk about part-time courses, if this, you know, the full-time one doesn't suit you, then certainly get in touch. And I hope to have you all attending the classes. Fingers crossed.